Rise, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here. We are back for another episode of The Rise. This is episode 50, guys. Can you believe it? 50-ish months of this. There have been a couple months where we played 2 episodes in 1 month. But there's also been months where we haven't played a single episode. So about 50 months of this crazy game. That is over 3 years, if my math mathises. And everyone's in the right spot. Guys, look, it looks like I'm a professional streamer. It looks that way. It's not accurate, but sometimes it looks that way. That being said, if you like what we do here and you want to support the channel, just like these fine folks you see here before you, join us over on the Patreon link down in the description down below. While you're down there, click on that Discord link, join us in the Discord, be a part of the community, be a part of the conversation. And as always, the bottom right-hand corner is the corruption bar. That bar serves 2 purposes. One is when that bar fills. Honestly, this episode, I'm probably going to save it for next episode. This episode is supposed to be a nice, light, fun time, a little jaunt, a little relaxing after I punched the shit out of them in the last episode, quite literally. So the corruption bar will probably be saved for the next episode where I can twist the knife and hurt them down all that much more. But the second thing is every single dollar that goes into that goes back to this channel for all kinds of cool things like art, books, designs, fun things, mortgages, etc. And without further ado, previously on The Rise. The godlings left the Lumavane village after the Elder's urgent warnings, descending into the deepest tunnels where the Mother of Spores delivered her final prophecy. Upon reaching the sealed gate, they awakened the spore-born Colossus, a towering fungal guardian, forcing them into a desperate battle for survival. With the Colossus defeated, the godlings plunged into the third deep, the steps of the Colossus, where long-lost survivors of Dawnsfall and old ties awaited them. Before we jump into anything crazy, I was reminded as I went through fun stuff. Mina, I would like you to roll me a 1d6 plus 3 real quick. A 4. Outstanding. And since you didn't get a chance to roll on it previously, if you'd like to roll me a difficulty 4, knowledge check with regards to an artifact you received. Actually, I guess the first question is, before all of that, when speaking to the Mother of Spores, you were all gifted an object. And Terry's and Seydlitz took theirs. You were being cardboard Mina, so you didn't have a choice in the matter. And Korax refused his gift because he hates mushrooms and anything that looks like mushrooms. Would you have taken the item given to you?
Oh, yeah, Mina wouldn't have turned it down at all.
Okay. If you would like to, you can make me a difficulty 4 intellect roll to see if you can suss out what this could be.
I just put lots of effort in that so I fall over dead.
That's the goal.
Oh, gee.
I just said it was supposed to be a jaunt.
What was that roll for?
To understand his artifact.
No one's rolled for it yet.
No, you all attempted to roll on your last episode. The episode you got them.
I don't think anyone did.
No,
we just rolled for the level.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
In that case, you don't do anything. I'm not going to give you a GM intrusion. That's just silly. Rocks fall, everyone dies.
What?
And Terry's, if you'd like to roll for yours, you can give me a difficulty 6 intellect roll. Seydlitz, you can give me a difficulty 5.
6. Okay.
And Korax, you can give me nothing because you took nothing and deserve nothing.
But I already
destroy those mushrooms.
All I can think of is the scene from Willy Wonka. You get nothing. You drink, busy lifting drink. It's here, black and white, clear as day.
But you have to say it like Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
Nothing. I failed.
I see that.
All I have is a viscous sack of seeds.
I'm sorry.
I'm
I
gonna
definitely
throw
failed.
them at Korax when he's walking ahead of me.
I like how that's what you took from what I said, a viscous sack of seeds.
What you said.
A pale, almost transparent spore cluster that is cool to the touch.
I have a flower that you said looked like a bear trap.
Yeah, that's correct. That's more or less correct.
So I just call it the trap flower.
And
So-
go ahead.
Can you repeat what it looks like?
A pale, almost transparent spore cluster that is cool to the touch. Mina,
sack of
yours
seeds, G.
is a delicate, bioluminescent fungal growth.
So that's even worse. A spore cluster? I hate those words.
You got it from mushroom people. What'd you want? A fucking steel sword? Like what the shit?
Well, that'd be
They're-
handy. Like this was left behind by another adventurer who came through here.
No, they're telepathic
They
mushroom
gave
people.
you an arrow of total destruction.
No, they gave you mushrooms from their mushroom village full of mushroom people that use telepathic mushroom magic. Jesus.
And how big is it? Like palm size? Like holding it like
Let me see.
an apple or
here.
something? Or...
Yeah, like it's big enough to hold in your hand, like a plum size,
Okay.
I imagine. Yeah. Seydlitz, yours is like the size of like a dinner plate, or like not a dinner plate. What's the next size down from a dinner plate? That little
Salad
guy.
plate?
That's the one. A salad plate. That seems right. Now on to other things. As the shattered remains of the spore-born colossus collapses into the dust behind you, you turn toward the newly revealed tunnel, yawning open like the mouth of something long buried. The descent is steep and winding, an unnatural stairway carved into ancient stone. The walls are lined with crumbling murals depicting towering giants locked in eternal battle, against monstrous horrors. Their massive forms caught in frozen conflict. Some figures are shattered beyond recognition, others marred by age and dust, but one thing is clear. The war here never truly ended. At first, the tunnel is quiet. Only the sound of your own footsteps echo through the hollow dark. But the air begins to shift, losing the damp organic scent of the fungal throne, replaced by something drier, older, metallic, and heavy, like a storm trapped beneath the earth. Then the tunnel opens. Before you stretches an impossible cavern, vast enough to house a ruined empire. Towers, broken and jagged, rise from the rubble like shattered teeth. Colossal statues lie toppled, their forms cracked and worn, some still clutching massive stone weapons. Bluish lights, arcane lamps that should have long since gone dark, still flicker atop cracked marble pillars, casting dim illumination across the ruins. And at the very center of it all, stretching far beyond your sight, lies the stair of the Colossi. A grand stairway of impossibly large steps carved for creatures hundreds of feet tall. You are not alone here. Far below, at the base of the stair, figures move among the ruins. Not the massive lumbering colossi that still stir in the distance, but smaller humanoid shapes, lit by the glow of campfires and salvaged lanterns. Some move with purpose, others stand watch, their eyes turned upward, scanning the stairway as if expecting something, waiting for you. What are you all doing?
Throw my knife. No, I'm just kidding.
They die immediately.
Just joking. Just joking.
It hits them directly in the neck. GM intrusion hits them directly in the neck.
Yeah, there's that GM
Fireball.
intrusion.
Everyone is in panic.
Oh shit.
So these look like people, like
Mhm.
surface-dwelling people.
Correct.
Not weirdo mushroom people.
They absolutely don't look
people.
like mushroom people.
Korax is going to start heading that direction. And as he gets closer or further towards, he's going to start speeding up.
Okay.
if they look like surface people.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing?
Yeah, Mina does likewise. As soon as Korax heads off, Mina's beside him. And he just looks over and says, are you okay? You look like shit.
I feel like shit, but if that's them, we've at least made it. That's what matters.
Yeah. Let's go.
I think, and Terry. Go ahead.
As they start to sort of speed up their pace, Korax just has a half glance to me and it's just, thank you for getting me here.
It was your idea. I just went along with it.
Couldn't have got you without you.
And Mina glanced over his shoulder. Might want to thank them as well. I think they played a part.
Couldn't hear that last bit, Norm.
Didn't hear that last part you said.
Oh, sorry. Mina just glances over and says, you might want to thank some others as well. I think they played a part.
He just nods.
Seydlitz just shakes his head. He doesn't need thanks.
And Terry thinks about like warning them, like oh, don't, like be careful, we don't know who they are. But she doesn't say anything and she just lets them go. But she like is looking down, like just to make sure they don't look like bad enemy, like bad people. But she follows at a normal pace.
Korax. GM intrusion.
Always, Mike.
Okay. 1 XP to you, 1 XP for a companion of yours. You hear something. And in the moment you hear it, there's that like that look of confirmation to like see if anyone else heard this kind of thing, that like almost instinctual, like you look to someone else. No one is reacting to this noise. You alone hear this. And then you feel something like pressure around the front of your throat. And you feel like almost like a tug, like pulling you backwards, but by the neck, as if you were just yanked by an invisible collar. And the noise you hear is a rattle of chains. And as you hear the rattle of chains and the yank, as if pulled on like a collar, the only thing you can think of is the massive set of chains worn by the Rakshasa Queen that she wore around her waist as a belt. If you'd like, in this moment, you can make me a difficulty 6 knowledge of God's intellect check here.
I would, Mike.
Go for it.
Difficulty 6. Gonna use 2 efforts.
Risky.
Oh no.
The
I love
will of the
No.
gods has spoken.
Wow. Wow.
Everyone here, apropos of Korax, everyone here hears the loudest, thickest, but unmistakable rattle of chains, followed by 2 very distinct howls. The problem is, these are the loudest howls you've ever heard. They echo and reverberate through the third deep. Dust falls. Little rocks fall from the stalactites. The ground sort of shifts and reverberates beneath you. The 4 of you understand that something massive and chained is here in the third deep.
And Terry draws her sword.
How do you guys proceed towards the flicker of light you saw off in the distance?
Can we see how those other people are reacting to this?
They don't seem to be reacting any differently than they were before. Perhaps this is not the first time they have heard this sound.
Well, Antares will continue forward following the guys, sword out this time, and now she's head on a swivel looking around.
Okay. The sounds... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Mina kind of does a quick double step and make sure that he's in front of Corax as they proceed.
Okay. As you proceed through the ruins, there's a feeling of smallness here. The area, despite being ruined, once you descend through the tunnel down into the actual floor of the third deep, there's a feeling of familiarity here. You do not find yourself in a fungal grove of giant myconids and huge mushroom trees. You do not find yourself in the hot, almost jungle-like setting of the first deep. You find yourself in a massive, both in size, scope, and height of building, a massive city. A city built for massive individuals. What looks like, tabletop rock formations are in fact buildings and doorways. There are ruins around you. They are destroyed, but it's hard to tell from just how large these buildings are. In fact, as you descended down from the Sporeborn Colossus' chamber, this is the largest deep you've been in. The ceiling is lost in darkness. You can't even make out the tops of the buildings that are still remaining. And you can hear around you the occasional of footfalls in the distance echoing through here, as if giants large enough to build and or live in these buildings still exist herein. You quickly and quietly pick your way through the ruins, moving into doorways and upturned park benches that are the size of mountains. And you continue towards the flickering light in the distance. A few 100 feet out, you see the people who are sort of milling about. You see that they have made a camp at the foot of the stairs of the Colossi. Massive, each step 50 feet high, leading an impossible height into the darkness. You see that there are an array of climbing rigs attached to the stairs, as if delvers have been this far before, and this is a relatively charted path for them to attempt to scavenge for more artifacts and ciphers, remnants of the gods. But off to the side, you see a small encampment. The people that you see there are not well equipped, and you collectively make the immediate assumption that they are not, in fact, delvers. There are two small cook fires going. There is the smell of some sort of food being cooked. You're not entirely sure what it is. It does smell more burnt than savory, but more savory than anything else. And you do see the people move slowly, not so much with great purpose, as if they have chosen to live here, and they do not look the best in shape. You do see that there is several posted guard here that do have some sort of weapon, all looking outward as if to defend their camp. What are the four of you doing as you see this scene unfold before you?
Mina looks around and assesses for any forward sentries, just in case.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me. It's going to be a difficulty 3 speed check.
No.
You don't see anyone lurking around in the ruins nearby.
I think Antares and Seydlitz are moving together while the boys are up ahead. And Antares just glances over to him. She's like, I don't know what's going on around here, but we definitely need a break. As in, not, and she means like not like a rest break, but like a break in our luck. Like we need some good luck here.
You're asking for the impossible with this group. It seems we cause our own trouble.
We just, and she glances ahead at them. We just gotta stay on our toes, okay?
Yes, because that wolf howl wasn't me.
Yeah. And Mike, how far away are those footsteps? Like, is there any kind of distance we can discern?
They seem far away.
Okay.
They don't seem close at all.
Mike, the howls, just to
Yeah.
double check. Korax didn't hear those?
Oh, you did.
You did, okay.
You did.
As they walking towards this encampment, everyone's got their heads on swivels and is being super observant, would notice that Korax doesn't take his eyes away from dead ahead. He doesn't look left or right. He's not looking for something jumping out of an alleyway. He's looking at the people that they're approaching. For the people who don't look like military or delvers, does he recognize anyone, or are we still too far out for that?
You're still too far out for that.
All he's fixated on is that group, and he's still walking at an exaggerated pace.
Okay.
Mina looks over his shoulder to Korax. Is it them? Do you recognize anyone?
I can't see, but I hope so. We just need to get there.
Yep. Mina calls back to the other two. Double time, and he breaks into a quicker pace.
I imagine that's a run for Korax to keep up. He's going to stick with Mina as close as he can.
Yeah, and Terry's is purposely staying, like, hanging back. Like, this is like a moment for, like, them. Like, if this is who we think or we hope it is, this is like a them moment. So she's purposely not, like, inserting herself. So she stays back. You're muted.
I sure am. You're not running with the boys?
No, like,
Okay.
she'll stay, like, back maybe, like, 20 feet.
Neither is Seydlitz. He rather stay behind so he can keep an eye on those two because they're the source of all their troubles.
And it's more, yeah, like, yeah, she's doing it more for, like, she's gonna cover them. Like, while they're doing, like, a family reunion, hopefully, she's going to be guarding the perimeter type shit.
Okay. And the other two, you're sprinting forward. Perfect. If you're guarding the perimeter and Terry's instead, let's go ahead and give me a difficulty 3 speed check.
Speed. Difficulty 3. I can sense ambush. As in,
I'll give you an asset.
okay. As in, I am never surprised by an attack. That's what the actual ability does.
Yeah, I also have sense ambush.
And I
I'll give you an
succeed.
asset for it.
Yeah, I succeed.
You see off in the distance, maybe a good like 20 paces or 20 or so paces to your right. You see someone also sprinting in the direction of the camp. Your best assessment on that roll is as a scout. Someone who was sort of watching, and as soon as the boys broke into a sprint, they took off, probably to warn the encampment.
Okay.
Or at least alert them of some kind.
And then Terry's is like, we'll just say, we have a scout on the left.
Leave him.
Yeah.
It's better we don't do anything rash or hostile actions because we could make these people could be friendly. And besides, Mina has a shield.
Well, they both look like.
Okay.
She's gonna say, well, they both look like crap, so I don't know how good they're doing.
Also true. We cut to the boys as they sprint towards the encampment here. The closer and closer you get, the more apparent it becomes that these people are not in a good way. They seem to have been down here for some time. You're not entirely sure. They do look weak and weary. Their clothing looks not threadbare, but their clothing does look very tattered and disheveled. They look more like survivors or refugees. And Korax mostly, but also Mina. As you get closer, you begin to recognize a handful of these people. As people you have seen, mostly Korax. You've seen them quite a bit more than Mina. But Mina, you did have some interaction, and you recognize that these are survivors and refugees of the destruction at Dawn's Fall that have sort of camped out here at the stairs of the Colossi. As you realize this, what do the two of you do?
As soon as Korax recognizes the first person, he sort of, probably mostly out of breath, says to Mina, I recognize someone, and he is going to run as fast as he can. Like, full pelt for him.
You begin to run towards that person, giving Mina a brief moment in time to sort of react to you. And as you move, you feel like the feeling that Korax feels when Mina takes the field of battle, that sort of like that rush of energy, you sort of feel that in opposition to you. And as you sprint towards this person who you know, there is a person who is all of a sudden in front of you. And you are being grabbed by the shoulder as you feel the point of a spear just gently press into your abdomen. You are stopped dead in your tracks, Korax.
Korax would instinctively turn at, well, he wouldn't even look at who it is. And he would attempt to use his ability Fling just to push that person away.
Interesting. Read me what Fling does, just so I...
You violently launch a creature or object about your size or smaller within short range and send it flying a short distance in any direction. This is an intellect attack that inflicts 4 points of damage, blah, blah, blah. But he's not looking to do damage. He's just getting this, whoever this is, away.
Is there a crevasse nearby?
There is not a crevasse nearby. However, Korax, you can go ahead and make me a roll for this. Difficulty is 10.
Ooh, fuck. Fuck this bitch.
Difficulty 10. What, is he flinging a god?
Not far off. I rolled in the hope of a nat 20, but no luck.
Outstanding. What does it look like as you use this ability?
Corax has used it once before, and I think at the time I didn't really think about it. I think now it's him just sort of instinctively going as if he's going to hit something with his hand, but rather than it being a physical hit, it's sort of like a burst, almost like a sonic wave that pushes off of him into that person, creature, being, and pushes them off.
So you make this motion, right? And very like very anime style, right? Where like someone uses that power move and someone just fist blocks it, and you see like the burst of wind sort of happen around them. This person is an immovable force. As you get you're running full speed, a hand appears enough to like shock you into being still. You feel that gentle press of a spear in your belly, and you instinctively make this flick, and a gust of wind and force, just sort of like a river with a large stone in the center. It just around the sides. You see like dust kick up, rocks move around them, sort of flinging this light debris back towards the camp itself. And you see before you a woman with dark hair in a like a shoulder length, almost bob. You see her in old but well-worn, well-loved leathers. You see that she has sort of a green side cape fastened with what is unmistakably a brooch bearing the symbol of Samora on it. Leather body armor, leather hand guards, greaves, sort of like a longer, almost like mid-calf length Romanish skirt, like a battle skirt sort of thing. And you see this woman with a very stern, slightly amused, slightly displeased look on her face. And you can't help but think she looks familiar. And she just says, and holds you there.
Is she between Corax and
everyone else? She's between Corax and the whole encampment.
Corax sort of shakes his head. He says, if I have to die to get past you, I will do it. I will get to my sister no matter what.
Mina, what are you doing? As Corax had said, I recognize someone, sprints full force past you. You watch him get stopped in place. Magic goes off. Dust debris falls. And you see that he is standing in front of the woman I had mentioned just now. And you hear a very familiar,
I think Mina initially sees Corax kind of arrest his running, and so like drops in behind his shield and starts sprinting forward, and he hears that and you just see him drop his shield and his spear, and he just sprints to the woman, and you just hear him say, "Mum, it's us. We're here."
You rush towards her, and Terry said that you hear this as it's echoing sort of behind you. Corax, you feel this iron grip on your shoulder release. You feel the point leave your abdomen, and you hear the clatter of the spear at your feet. And in just as quick a speed, you see this woman embrace Mina in a bear hug, as you hear, "Mom, it's me. We made it." And you see that the woman who stopped you at such great speed and strength was Mina's mother, Aurel.
As soon as she let go of Corax, he ran.
Okay. You sprint past into the village. Who are you looking for? What are you doing as you run through this encampment, rather?
Corax is looking for his sisters, basically. Sister more than the other. He would be frantically searching to make sure she was there and alive.
Okay. You sprint through dilapidated tents, you sprint through rocky outcroppings, whatever makes for shelter in this area. There doesn't seem to be weather here, but there is the need for comfort, for security. And you see these people are making shelter out of whatever they can. And you sort of you sort of run through what amounts to be like a refugee encampment here. Looking face to face, you see, tattered clothing, unwashed faces. You see broken bags of whatever it could have been grabbed from the ruins of Dawn's Fall or from the rage of war that happened in Dawn's Fall. And as you are moving around, you hear a small voice, perhaps not like a small in age, but a voice that hasn't really had cause to speak much over the past time they've been here. And you hear a voice croak out, Corax? And you turn to see Eve.
He stops dead in his tracks, turns to her, and he probably starts to cry at this point, and he runs and gives her a huge hug. He just picks her up and just bear hugs her. Says, I'm sorry we left you, but as soon as we found out you were here, we came. We came straight away. We didn't wait.
She pulls into the hug, and you can feel that stutter breath on your shoulder as she is sort of like a little bit sobbing into your shoulder. And as you explain that you did your best, you came here, she sort of steps back from you. And there's a look of like wonderment, and she says, "You're alive."
Yeah, of course I am. Mina heard your prayers, and I hoped you were here. I managed to. I'm sorry, but I managed to read some words of yours that said you were okay and you were here, and we came as quickly as we could.
She takes a step back, and you see just the very briefest upturn of one of the corners of her mouth as she hauls back and unloads on your shoulder and says, "You're an idiot. It's dangerous here." And then grabs you by the wrist and says, "Come on, you have to see the others," and pulls you further into the encampment.
He goes with, I know it's dangerous, that's why I'm here. Trying to get you out.
We cut back to Mina. Corax has taken off. Your mother has embraced you in the first hug you've had in a couple years, I believe, at least from her. What are you doing in this moment, Mina?
Yeah, Mina's just pulled her into the biggest bear hug. He goes, are you okay? Are you safe? Are we in danger? Where's Dad?
I'm safe. Everyone here is safe. Your father is here. Our presence in the deeps is a danger. This place is a constant danger. So outside of the norm, no, I think we're fine.
And he goes, we heard your call. We came as soon as we could. How do we get you out of here? When can we leave?
We are... How did you get here?
We came through the depths. We went to one of the holdfasts in Tunabar, and then we just made our way down here. I heard your prayers. I heard everyone was praying to me.
Yes. If you can get out the same way you came, then we should do so. I have been looking and I have been unable to find a return to the surface. The way we came is closed off to us now. And outside of this area, the night beast stalks the third deep.
We destroyed the guardian that was blocking the path. We can get out that way. We met some nice-ish mushroom people. They'd probably not mind if we went back through that way. And then we met not nice-ish snake people. But I'm sure we can get around them. We did before.
You defeated a guardian.
Well, that's what the mushroom people called it. It didn't introduce itself.
Okay. Interesting. And she steps back from you a few steps, and like the way someone would inspect you upon a first date or a big event in your life, you see that your mother is fully assessing you, and she is looking over the son she has not seen in some time and the man he has become, and you see that she looks down at the shield, and you see recognition across her face. She knows that shield and who it belonged to. You see that she looks at your form, and from the scrawny-ish boy that left the town to the more filled-out demigod man that stands before her, you have clearly grown in the years since you have left Dawnsfall. And she looks to you and she says, "You will always be my boy. But I need more from you. I need you." And there's a pause and a moment of regret, you think, flashes across her face. If we are to survive and return, I will need you to be my soldier. And she looks to you, placing a hand on your shoulder. And you feel an energy pulse through her. And Thurs and Seydlitz, as you are making your way up, you see Mina with a woman standing in front of him with an arm on his shoulder. And you can feel this energy radiating off this interaction. As Mina, this feeling of pride and justice and righteousness sort of fills your body in the way that you saw your mother give command in as a warrior in the Samoran army. The way that her soldiers would stand to and take attention, the way that she would give these orders, issue these commands, and the way that they would stand up straighter, the way that they would look more prepared. This sort of feeling flows into you. And the three of you, and Thurs, Seydlitz, and Mina, watch as 6 nimbuses light up in a crown around her head, forming a circular device on her head, looking like a crown, almost like a crowned helm of battle. And Korax, as you are being dragged through the encampment towards family, a familiar, albeit excruciating pain writes itself along your mind as a fact is checked and corrected. And somewhere, miles above you, miles away, under the shadow of Nod, a book flutters open, and what was once a scratched out name, the scratch is removed. And Korax, you know that one of the gods is not dead. And that here, in the stairs of the Colossi, the goddess of valor is alive and well.
Bitch.
She immediately kills you.
Really? I thought you were going to say she was like the goddess of war or something. That really would have pissed me off.
No, not quite. And Terry, so you see this helm, this crowned helm, form as a nimbus around her. Mina, this is the first time you've felt this power or seen this nimbus. As your mother says, if we are going to survive this, I need you as my soldier.
Yeah, Mina just falls to one knee, with his head down, and just says, "I'm yours, man."
You see her reach down, not quite like she reaches down but doesn't kneel before you. Reaches down, she picks up her spear, writes it, and stamps it in the ground, and says, "Rise."
Yeah, Mina gathers his shield and spear and stands up to attention.
And Terry's and Seydlitz, there's a moment in this where like you're walking and you see this, and it's enough to sort of stop you in your tracks. And there's another moment when she stamps the spear in the ground and says, "Rise," that the two of you have this feeling that if you were in the same position, whether you wanted to or not, you would have stood up. There is a level of command that you don't think you could betray in that moment. And you watch as Mina rises. She lovingly puts an arm around your shoulder, Mina, sort of turns, and the two of you walk in. And Antares and Seydlitz, you watch as the helm, the crowned helm fades as she returns to the encampment. What are the two of you doing in this scene?
I don't know if you could tell by my face, but Antares is not pleased with this. Yeah.
Oh boy, another god.
She definitely has opinions on it, and she's not going to say anything, but she I think they'll walk up the steps towards the encampment, but she's not going to go in. She's just going to go, she's just going to like sit on like a broken piece of stone and like take up a sentry position and just keep an eye out. And she kind of mutters, she just says under her breath, "Great." Yeah, and then she'll just let Seydlitz do whatever he wants to do.
Seydlitz just kind of looks at Antares walk away and kind of
I thought Matt paused, and I remembered he's in a storm. And
oh yeah, I'm like,
internet. I like how we were all like, "Wow, solid dramatic pause, Matt."
Yeah. Matt lives in Tornado Alley or something like that. So.
I forgot that he's like pending a storm. Shit. Matt, are you back?
You said that, and I heard I heard Matt pause, and it's like, and my connection started to go unstable.
The last thing we heard from you was that you watch as Antares kind of walks away.
Yeah, Seydlitz raises an eyebrow and just kind of watches her walk away, but it's simply he's figuring it's probably something to do with her past and her adopted parents and her evil mother. So it's kind of a not my problem. So he's going to go say hi to the goddess, basically, and he's gonna continue in that direction
Okay.
and just kind of see. Okay, new god, hooray!
Perfect. Yeah, you continue and sort of, like make yourself aware to this goddess as you sort of follow with them into the encampment. And Terry, you're stopping and you're sort of taking up a central position outside the encampment. You're not actually going in.
Yeah, like she'll glance in and just like make sure everything seems on the up and up, and she's just going to maybe she doesn't sit, maybe she's just going to pace back and forth and just like watching out. Sword will be resheathed, but her hand will be on the hilt.
Okay. Perfect. Corex, you asked me a question as to what name you would know the goddess of valor by. And the name she went by before the fall was Orelphus. And what you would know of her, because you are a adherent and you would have had some knowledge of the gods, is that she is the vanguard of battle. Battle that she deemed necessary and righteous, she was the tip of the spear. She commanded armies in the thousands, and in conflicts among the gods. She was one that would lead those conflicts. She was a general among gods. So Orelphus, the goddess of valor, is what you would know the official title as. Yeah, so Corex, we see you have this excruciating pain sort of right across your, literally right itself across your mind, as you are being dragged through the encampment. Your sister pulling on your wrist and dragging you through. You see a small hovel made of stones collected and sort of placed, basically forming like slabs of stone forming almost a teepee sort of construction here, sort of leaned up against each other. And inside you see a very small fire dug into the ground, and around it are faces whom you recognize. They are your siblings. Your sister drags you forward, and she says, "Hey, look!" And you see your three brothers. Two brothers, and your other two sisters, your other one sister, look up as you are thrust into the room, like pushed from behind in a way that you sort of stumble awkwardly into the room, as your family looks on in disbelief, as you stumble into their rock teepee. What do you do as you make this grand entrance?
He is not grand for him. He feels awkward as hell. The only one of his siblings that he really gets on with is his little sister, who dragged him all the way here. And he's like, "Hey, I'm here. I'm still good. You guys seem to be all right." And he looks back at Eve, like confused as to why she's pushed him in. And he's like, "How do we get you out of here?
How'd you even
Why
get
are you
here?
still here? I walked here."
You see one of your brothers looks incredulously at you. The other one looks to you and says, you walked here by accident? How did you find us?"
With a big sigh, he looks at him and goes, "Well, you were all asking for Mina, and I know Mina. So we knew where we needed to get to, because I kind of knew the location based on what Mina could see was the steps of the Colossus. So we decided we were going to come here and fetch you all and get you out of here safely."
I didn't pray for anyone named Mina. For the record.
Well, if you want, I can ask him because he will know that you've prayed to him, so you can't lie.
What? Okay, but why are you here?
Because we came to get you out?
Yeah, but why you? Like, what are you gonna do?
Oh, yeah, I help people now, a bit more than I used to. Because I'm pretty smart.
Okay.
And he
Okay.
nods.
Okay. So you tagged along with the Mina guy, and he's gonna get us out of here. All right, I can buy that.
Well, him and Terry's and Seydlitz will probably kill all the things that get in the way, but I'll do the brain things and get us past the things that they can't kill.
Got it. Got it. That makes so much more sense. How did you, you know, it's been a while. And you see Andy sort of shift over enough to have a space in this like little circle of family, and he sort of pats the ground next to him, which is in between Andy and your other brother, Blair, which is probably the worst place, like in memory, the worst place for you to sit. But he scooches over, so there's a perfect seat between two siblings who don't really care for you in a way that only brothers cannot care for you. And he says, yeah, you're welcome to have anything we have. We don't have a lot. I don't know if you know who it is, but there's a woman here named Arel, and she sort of took charge of this sort of operation, and she's found
Arel?
Arel,
Huh.
yeah.
He smiles. Arelthis. Okay, that makes sense. Ooh, that makes a lot more sense. Okay.
No, it's Arel.
No, it's not.
You don't even know who it is. You don't even know. Okay.
Yeah, I tried to throw her and she kind of stopped me and it didn't go well.
Yeah, obviously. She's like a Samoran general or something. I don't know.
A bit more higher up than that.
I don't really know politics well, but I think the next thing higher up is like the queen.
Higher up than that.
Okay.
Remember when you were praying to people? It's kind of like that.
Yeah, she said she's the one who told us to pray.
Yeah. Gods know about other gods. It's how it works. You should have listened when Mom and Dad told us all those things and told us to pray and learn about the gods. I mean, you should know the name Arelthis. Why do you not know that?
I'm saying you're wrong, and her name is Arel.
I'm saying I'm not. It's not.
Okay.
She might go by that.
Okay. Well, we have some food, and you're welcome to help yourself while you're down here until this Mina guy rescues us.
Oh, and it's not just Mina, it's also Antares and Seydlitz.
Right. Until your traveling companions rescue us.
Technically, yeah. They're rescuing you. And he looks across at Eve. He goes, and he just shrugs at her.
She looks to you and smiles in a way that, like, she's happy to see you, and also this is funny for her. And before we cut back, the last thing we hear is, "Yeah, of course they're rescuing us." And we cut back to where we see Aurel and Mina, arm over the shoulder. Seydlitz not too far off as you are being walked through the encampment. Mina, again, you see the same sights. You see what amounts to a refugee camp. People are not doing great. They are as fed as they can be in here. You see not a lot of like trained fighters here, given the state of Dawnsfall and what happened to it. Makes sense that most of the trained fighters probably stayed behind, or were killed in the fight. You do see that the clothing on the backs of these people has been mended and repaired. Which sort of gives rise to the fact that Uldorn is here somewhere, and your mother also said as such. But he is doing whatever he can in this crisis, and you do see that there are a couple of what makes for guards sort of posted on slightly higher. You see one on one of the third stair above you. You see one standing amid some ruins. You saw the one at the entrance when you had first come in. And Aurel leads you through the encampment, sort of just talking to you, as if you were visiting home almost, right? There's a very comfortable, familial sort of feeling about the conversation, as she does that thing that moms do, where she points out people in the town that are survivors that she tells you that you know, who you clearly don't remember who these people are. And then if you try to say you don't, she'll explain who they are in hopes that would make you understand, regardless of whether it does or not. As she points out a few people, oh, you know Timus, so-and-so, as she continues down the way, leading you towards a small, like a tent that is raised up on a couple of stones to make it sort of a little bit bigger. And you see someone coming out of there with a bundle of clothing sort of folded up neatly. And inside you see a lantern, and you see your father has set up a workbench on a stone slab. And you see that he is talking to someone else as he stitches something, folds it, hands it off, and that person also leaves. On the way in, before you enter into this tent, your new home, as it were, your mother looks to you and she says, "Your father is aware. I hoped differently for you. I hoped for a normal life. I know what happened to Dawnsfall. No one else here does, for the most part. I knew when I saw her that your fate would not be far behind. I had hoped that the two of you would be united in this attempt at rescue. But I can see that it's not the case. Is she well?"
Yeah. The last time I saw her, she tried to kill me. Then decided to kill Wexy instead. So maybe.
She turns to you and sort of wraps her arms around your neck and pulls you in, into a very comforting, motherly, not godly hug. And she says, I know that the two of you shared a bond. And judging by the shield, it went further than I knew. I never wanted this for you. I never wanted this for either of you. There is a sickness, a madness, a proclivity. Godhood outweighs familial ties. This is a truth I have come to understand, no matter how hard I have tried to fight against it. There have been times where I have had to lie to protect you and your sister. The last 40 years have been a lie. There have been times when I fought with siblings of blood and siblings of bond. There have been times when I have fought against these same people. And no amount of shared memory or blood tie ebbed the feuds. The only thing that has given me solace over my long years is to remind myself and to remind you now that you were not attacked by your sister. You were attacked by another god. And I know that it feels very much the same, but in a way that I cannot explain to you. Believe me that it is different.
She blamed me for Dawn's fault, but if I saw what happened, the heart of gloom, she lost control. But you're all here, you're all safe. I mean, once she sees that, she's got nothing to blame me for.
A small number of us are safe. A small number of us are here. The Nefar that attacked, I have come to believe that the Nefar that attacked us are of the same tribe or tribes of Nefar that you drove off. I believe Rhea thought the same and blamed you for their resurgence or for not being here to help, to help protect the town. I don't know that she knows what happened. She killed many.
When we get out of here, we can find her together. She also thought you and Dad were dead, so that's another thing that she when she finds out, she won't. She's got nothing left to blame me for. She'll be fine.
If you fought, I know that you know that your sister commands lightning and storm. When the Nefar came, her power was unleashed. She had no control. Hundreds of Nefar, dozens of townsfolk. I was able to save what I could. And I'm sorry for everything that Rhea brought onto you. But I am relieved to hear that she is alive. The last I saw of her she was consumed in lightning. And in a great strike, she was gone. I feared the worst and thought that she burnt herself out.
She seemed fine. She's working with the dragon in the Lumriel. She's one of the chosen or something like that, like Antares. And he looks around. She was the one we were with. But Antares is better. She's not working for the dragon anymore, and she's a nice enough person. Maybe Ray can do the same.
Your companion is a daughter of the dragon.
Yeah, not biological. I think like adopted, but yeah, she was, but she's not now. She's nicer, and I think there's something to do with the King of Nod, but I don't know.
Have you seen him?
The King of Nod? Yeah, I was stuck in a dream. I dreamt about you two. I don't know if that was really you or not. But he said some weird cryptic stuff. And then I saw him again and he didn't remember me. So I figured one or both of them were a dream. Either way, I've encountered him, but he's a bit of a dick.
Your companions, or are they like us?
Yeah, Corax is like really, really smart. I think he's, well, he says he knows everything. So, and Seydlitz is a really good hunter, and Cherries is a really good fighter, and bit mean, but they're just like us. And Mina displays his nimbus at that time.
She smiles at you in a smile that is sad, and you can tell that there's more that she wants to discuss with you. And you watch someone leave the tent behind you, and she just turns and says, "Your father will want to know that you're safe." And she sort of turns towards the open tent flap.
Mina extinguishes his symbol and turns to the person leaving, picks up one of the items and says, "Oh, this stitching, who did this for you? This won't last very long at all." And he says it loud enough that the person inside can hear. He says, "Oh, I don't know who would use this stitch on this sort of repair, but obviously we're dealing with some sort of amateur here."
And you hear from inside the tent, in a loud, given the quiet nature of the like the forlorn nature of the encampment, you hear a loud voice that is like both as booming as it is boisterous, and you hear an amateur. And you see the tent move aside, and we see a guy that looks very much like a younger Norm. Hair sort of parted in the middle, an equally bushy beard, except browns and reds. We see probably the largest seamstress or tailor you've ever seen, sort of fills out his smock, as they would say, as he takes up the frame of the door, and he says, "An amateur, I'll have..." And he sees who it is, and you see him take 2 large steps forward and sort of reach down and scoop you up like you're still a kid, arms around the middle, and just lifts you a few inches off the ground, and squeezes the breath out of you. And we'll cut back to Antares, who's brooding.
She's not
out.
brooding.
Well, what are you doing then?
She's keeping watch.
So does
This whole-
Batman, but both are brooding.
Yeah, but she looks a little better doing it. She's not so I don't know.
You hit it her first. Antares better than Batman.
Yeah, well, definitely better than Batman. Jesus. No, she's just she's keeping watch. Um, she doesn't feel like this reunion is for her. Like this is for the guys, right? The only reason why they're here is because of the guys. So she's just giving them their space and letting them do their thing. And then
Okay.
she's thinking about what's gonna happen after this. So
As
So she-
in how to get them back, or do we continue down further? What are your thoughts?
well, she has thoughts.
Okay. All right. Well,
So
in
she's
that-
just like
good.
she's just like patrolling back and forth, like casually. Like she might stop and like lean against a wall or something, take a moment to like sit, adjust the strap of her boot or something like that,
Okay.
But she's just keeping an eye out.
Okay. You see that there are a few other guards around. The more you're here, the more you see them. There's one positioned about 20 feet to your left who was here the whole time. You see that there's one up and behind on the third stair, on these stairs of the Colossi. So there's other guards around, sort of forming a lookout perimeter of the encampment here. Seydlitz, what are you doing? You actually entered the encampment. You see, after a while, you see Korax being dragged in one direction by a smaller girl. And you see Mina and Arel walking off towards a large tent. And you too, Seydlitz, see that this is ostensibly a refugee camp. People are getting by at best.
Seydlitz was waiting for an opportunity to speak to Mina's mother, the goddess, simply more of an introductory thing, simply because he wants to know what's going to happen next.
Okay.
Because they got here, it's a refugee camp. He's pretty good at putting two and two together, and the idea is more than likely they're going to want to go back up, and he wants to keep going down.
So I'll say you hear the amateur. I'll have, and you see that Mina is sort of swept up by this larger man. And the two of them head into that tent. And there's a moment before Mina's mother has stepped forward as if to progress into the tent, where she is outside alone. And you can sort of grab her attention if you so choose.
Madame, might I have a moment?
She looks to you, and there is like a very wry smile, and she says, "You can call me Arel. You are a companion of my son. What can I do for you?"
Well, Arel, no matter how reluctant of a companion I was of Mina, given that he's been no end of trouble for us all, I do want to get the senses. He's the one who spearheaded this whole expedition down here to here specifically. Am I to assume that you and everybody else here wants to go back to the surface?
Yes. I mean, they don't want to stay here, and I can't blame them. This is a incredibly dangerous location. The way we came here is closed to us. I have not been able to range too far from the encampment. You fought your way here, it sounds. You know the strength it took to get here. I feel as though if I ventured too far and something attacked, it would tear through the camp like tissue paper. I have not been able to find another exit.
Has Mina informed you that the way we came has also collapsed behind us?
He did not. He said something about fighting a guardian and meeting mushroom people.
That is the gist of it, yes, even if he's the abridged version. But after the fight, once we got past it, the cavern collapsed behind us.
Unfortunate. If
It's too much to ask,
Okay.
I have a curiosity question. Why bring them down here anyway? Why bring these people down here in the first place?
When I say the way we came here is closed to us, perhaps I was not as truthful. In our flight from Dawnsfall, a section of the ground opened beneath us, and we fell into the deeps. It was not my choice. We have found ourselves here.
Sheesh.
Well, don't mind my suspension of disbelief here when I say I'm not sure how much I buy that. To find yourself fallen all the way to the third deeps would kill most people.
I am not most people.
I am not referring to you. I'm referring to them. And say gestures around the entire camp.
I ensured the safety of the people who are in my charge. It also wasn't a straight fall. More of a very steep and painful slide.
Reminds me of the fall from the first to the second. Don't want to go back that way for sure.
These people, all they want is to return to whatever makes for their home or start anew. That cannot be done here, at least not with any sort of longevity. I do not wish to impede whatever journey you are on. I simply wish to return these people from whence they came.
I see you are striking the heart of the matter then. Because if I'm going to be blunt here, what it looks like to me is everybody, Korax Mita, they wanted to come here to the third deep. And Terry's is following along more out of benefit. We've helped her in the past, so she's returning the favor. I have my own reasons, but I seek to go further. I wish to make it to the fifth and find an answer for a question I've had for all my life.
The fifth deep. What brings you there? If you don't mind my asking.
Someone I know is down there. They might be waiting for me. They might be a pile of skeletal bones. But I wish to know that answer.
Interesting. Many people have sought answers. Few have made it that far.
It is a risk I'm willing to take. I never anticipated to return.
We don't need an escort. We simply need to find a path. There is to the best of my knowledge, the last time I was in Tenebar Holdfast, there was a man a ex-member of the Whitecaps, a man named Lurasan, who took to the stairs of the Colossi and decided to live here. If we can find this person and convince them to show us a way to the surface, I believe I can safely escort the survivors of Dawn's Fall out of this infernal place. There are 4 of you and only 1 of me. If you would like to expedite the process, then finding Lurasan and convincing him to give you a map or show you the exit would go a great deal faster than if I did it myself.
I can agree to this, but then the question becomes of what comes after. Korax and Mina are here for you all. They're not here for my goals or my decisions. I can't ask them to go further down for me.
That
And
is
honestly,
entirely up to you, sir. My son is here because I called him. I called for his aid. You and his other companions followed. If you are in need of aid and you call for it, I can only assume that your companions would follow. I cannot tell you what to do with your quest, with whatever time is left afforded to you. I can only ask for your assistance with where my journey leads.
Then as I am able and while I am here, I shall give you my assistance, as it is the best way forward for both of us. Your man might have a way up, but he also might have a way for me to go down.
Then, in that case, it is a win-win. I didn't ask.
Very well.
And I apologize. Given the state of the day, what is your name?
I am Seydlitz.
And the woman who came here with you, is that...
Antares.
Antares, thank you.
The one you referred to as the daughter of the dragon.
Yes.
I apologize. I was eavesdropping a bit.
So it is true, then.
It is. But she is a different person than the one you would be led to believe. She's changed on this journey quite a bit.
She always had a propensity for collecting powerful weapons. Please, gather your companions if you so choose, and whatever humble offerings we have for my son's companions, you are welcome to.
Thank you. But I believe I will leave them to that decision for a little while. It seems they wish to reconnect with those they have lost and have just regained.
She nods to you, and she looks inside the tent real quick, and she starts to walk away, and sort of places a hand on your shoulder, in like that squeeze, like an okay, like a reassuring kind of squeeze, as she walks back towards the entrance of the encampment, or she starts to walk back towards the entrance of the encampment. What do you do in this moment, Seydlitz?
Seeing as Seydlitz does not wish to interrupt Mina or Korax's reunion, he is going to find Antares once again.
You turn and walk, and you find yourself actually walking with Arel, as she is headed back towards the entrance of this place. But before we get there, we cut back to Korax's awkward reunion. Korax, where just if it's Andy Blair, right? Followed by oh my God, there's so many names. Daria. So Andy, Blair, Daria. Where do you sit? A space was made for you between Andy and Blair.
So,
or do you sit at all?
As someone who has a brother, you know if you don't sit, it's going to be worse. So he sits where he was told. But he would have sat there for a small period of time before, like, he eventually got bored. Because they're boring. They're just sitting here.
And they're just mundane
and after
regular people.
And as they sort of irritating him, as brothers would do, eventually he would get up. And he looks to Eve and says, I have someone that I need you to meet. And he goes to leave the tent.
You hear one of your brothers call it after you. Oh, just her? Are we not good enough for your friends?
No.
Wow. As you hear them snickering to each other and sort of poking fun at you.
He stops in the door and says, I'll introduce you to Mina, and then you can try and fight him.
I could take him.
You can, definitely. You should try.
Okay. You see Eve get up, and she's the youngest of your sisters, correct?
Yeah.
So you see her get up and walk to the edge of this stone teepee, and then you kind of if you're looking directly at her, you see her turn around and sort of like her body tenses up and sort of like hunches forward, and you can't see it, but she's absolutely making a scowling face at the rest of the family. As she is protective of her older brother. Absolutely, G. She for sure does one of those, like, does a G face at somebody. And the rest of the family sort of laughs it off as she is comically small. As she exits the stone facade of the house and looks to you and she says, who did you want me to meet?
Well, as they're in the doorway, he stops and looks at her and goes, why do you think I would die? Like loud enough so all the others can hear this, and he goes, too smart for that. And he takes her hand and walks out of the door.
You said to the people in the house?
No, he says that loud in the doorway to her.
Oh, okay.
Because she had said to him, I'm surprised you're alive.
Yeah. She, as you lead her away, she looks to you and she says, it's dangerous here.
Yeah, but I'm smart. Dangerous things are dumb.
Yeah, but you're not a fighter.
And he looks halfly back.
But you're not fighter.
He says, I'll show you people who can. And he takes her by the hand and starts to run.
Okay. Where are you running to?
He is running to go and find Antares.
Okay. So you make your way through the town. You pass by again the same thing you did on the way out. This time you sort of take note of a tent on top of rocks to make it like a larger space. And you begin to run through the town looking for Antares. Eventually, you catch sight of the woman you saw at the entrance that you know to be Mina's mother. And standing, probably not next to her, like walking with her, but maybe like a pace behind, is Seydlitz. And you can see that the two of them are headed towards the entrance of the encampment. And absolutely brooding like a gargoyle outside is...
brooding like a gargoyle.
Is Antares at the edge of the camp.
He's going to have to run past them, right?
If you want to run past them, you can. They all seem to be going in the same direction as you.
Yeah, she's from the show Gargoyles. With like lightning strikes.
Yes, 100%.
She looks pretty relaxed for Antares.
As he runs towards the gate. He's going to slow down as he gets to Arel. Where's my notes? There's my notes. And he's going to stop like alongside her, and he's going to do a half bow, and he's going to say, I'm sorry, Arelthus. I didn't know who you were.
She looks to you, and there's sort of a warm smile, and she says, I assure you it was by design.
And he holds the bow for a little bit longer, like awkwardly, and then starts to sort of turn to back away, and then just runs with Eve towards the gate, towards Antares.
Okay. The two of you, since you are running, will get there first. So you see Antares, let's say, well, yeah, like I said before, perched like a gargoyle on a rock. So you see Antares is sort of sitting on a rock outcropping like this. No, just sitting on a rock outcrop.
On her haunches with her knees up like this. No.
Just sort of one of these, just waiting.
Yeah. She's just like half sitting, half leaning against the rock, and she's just like arms crossed, and she's just like her feet across, like in front of her, and she's just like, she looks pretty relaxed for the past however many days.
Pretty relaxed for a gargoyle.
Yeah.
Hashtag casual
you
gargoyle.
You need a stone, but that's what I know.
Hashtag casual gargoyle. So you see Antares just sort of chilling, leaning against a rock, Corax.
You're
muted.
As he gets towards her and sort of almost drags his sister, he's going to stop in front of Antares and says, and he looks down at Eve and says, "This is Antares. She's one of the only reasons I did get here." And he like almost leans in, but in a loud whisper says, "She can fight really well."
She looks down
and
at
she looks after people.
How old is Eve? Just so I get a visual.
Yes. She was pretty young in my head, so probably, I don't know what Mike had envisaged, but like 10, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're like 18, right?
Yeah.
And there was another kid between the two of them, so she's got to be probably like at least 4 years younger than you.
Yeah, so my mind had her like 10, so she was young.
Okay.
Yeah, like she grins and like leans down and offers her hand. I was like, "Oh, nice to meet you."
She looks to you and she says, she like as you put your hand out, she looks to you and she says, "Do you think you could take me in a fight?"
Definitely not.
Because I can take him in a fight.
There aren't that many people who can take your brother in a fight, so I believe it. But you look like an ankle biter.
She looks to you and squints, in the way that like you can tell that she's trying to figure you out, and she goes, "That can't be right. Both of my brothers can take him, and my sister."
Well, yeah, and she leans down.
And me.
But your brother's a god now. So he has tricks up his sleeve. I've seen it.
She stands up, turns on her heel to you, Corax, hands firmly on her hips. If they could have made a sound, they would have. And she she does that like little half bend in, and she looks to you and she says, "The god of what?" And there is too much attitude in that question.
He leans towards her and does the same thing. Says, "Very smart."
That's not a god. You can't be a god of very smart. That wasn't in the books.
Some people say in books, but it's not books. It's just knowledge in general. So smarts. See?
Okay. Well, the god of being smart sounds dumb. The god of knowledge sounds better. So
I will tell people that in future. I'll get it put on a shirt.
Like a name tag.
And he nods.
What can you do?
I can find information and figure things out.
What is?
I can't do cool things like everyone else does, like with. But I can. Not right now, but I can. And he like finds something nearby, and just flings it across the path. He says things like that as well.
She takes a rock and throws it.
Yeah, but I didn't have to touch the He says there awkwardly.
Okay, so if you're the god of knowledge or being smart, Soroyer could do they knew everything about everyone. They could make new facts. They could know everything that was happening pretty much everywhere as it was happening. They could speak every language. They knew all kinds of magical stuff.
They had thousands of years to do that and learn that. I'm still beginning. I know some facts, and anyone can make new facts.
Prove it.
Well, the fact is that you were standing here, and he pushes her to the side.
She stumbles towards Antares. Goes, that's not a
See?
fact.
No, you're not
That's
standing.
not.
Well, it is a fact. You were standing here, now you're standing there. It's a fact. It's new.
I don't know how it is, but that is cheating.
Anyone can make facts, but I'm still learning. Getting there.
Okay. So you're the god of being smart, and you can move rocks with your mind.
And I also know when new gods appear. Or when old gods are found.
Okay.
He can make books float.
Oh, yes. I can do that.
What do you do?
Nothing. She doesn't laugh.
Don't believe her.
Are you the god of fighting good?
No. I'm the god of redemption.
So, like...
I used to be a bad person, but now I'm not.
Okay, so, like... do you forgive people?
Not yet, I guess.
Like, redemption is just forgiving yourself and doing better, right?
Yeah, but I guess if someone else wanted to do that for themselves, if someone did a really bad thing and they want to make up for it and be a better person, they would pray to me.
So you're like the god of forgiving yourself.
Sure.
Okay, that's cool, I guess. Can you make rocks float?
No. I can do this, and her nimbus flares up.
Okay, so you just like forgive people from really far away?
Well, no one's really called on me yet, so like Korak says, we're pretty young.
Okay. So let's say I were to run back to our little stone hut and I were to punch my brother. And then I were to pray to you and say that I was sorry.
She leans in, but you have to mean it. And then never punch him again. Can you do that?
No.
Gorax is standing there shaking his head.
No, I can't.
But you know,
Wait,
and
so
she-
if I do that and I say that and I don't mean it, will you know it?
you'll know it. So then your path of redemption will not really be a path. But, and she kind of wags her finger. That is kind of the point of the path of redemption. It's not just a straight line. Your path is going to look like this. You're going to do good things, and you're still going to do bad things.
Okay.
But the whole point is that you keep trying to be good and doing your best.
Okay, so you're like the god of forgiveness and doing your best.
Sure.
Okay.
Too many
So-
words, but you get the gist of it.
So, Mom didn't say it before, but was there a god of redemption before? And
She looks at Corax.
Was there, Mike?
Was there, Chris?
I don't remember seeing one in the books, Mike.
Well, that's true, but there's supposed to be 99, and, you know,
Roll for it, I guess.
if you want there to be, you can make one up. Or you can make it that Antares is the
Well-
first.
I mean, that's a question for G. Does she want to be the first god of redemption?
I don't know. Sure.
Okay. There you go.
Then he looks to Eve and says, there was never one. And Teres is the first. You have
Okay.
met one of the first new gods
That's cool.
in a very, very long time.
That's
See?
cool.
Told you she was cool.
The forgiveness and doing your best part was not a cool sell, but the first god that's new. Yeah, that's cool. Even though you can't move rocks with your mind.
Not
Yeah.
everyone can do magic.
Yeah, magic's a very specific thing, but I guess if you ever, yeah, you know what? It's fine.
I feel like all gods should be able to do magic, no?
No, they don't all do magic. They do different things.
Or it's magic in a different way.
Okay. Okay.
Like, she points back at Corax. He can make magic out of a book, and he can make books float. And if he needs information about something, he can conjure it up in his mind.
Oh.
It's very passive sometimes.
Okay, I don't really get any of that. And she looks back and forth between the two of you, and a second later, the two of you are joined by Arel and Seydlitz. But before we can jump too far down that rabbit hole, we're going to cut back to Mina as you find yourself alone with your father inside your little tent. And the bear hug ends, you are sort of drug inside the tent. And as you look like under his arm or over his shoulder, you realize that your mother has sort of gone elsewhere to deal with some other situation in the encampment. And you are left alone with your father. The interior of this place feels warm in the way that, like, we say certain lighting is warm, and being home in a familiar place feels warm. It feels comfortable in here, despite no actual temperature change. The room is warmly lit. You see there is a small fire and a chimney sort of out the back made of slabs of stone. And you can see that there are like not bolts of fabric, but like what makes for whatever people grabbed with them. Your father has sort of cut into strips of fabric to help repair what they have on them, and has sort of made a makeshift tailor's workshop here. As he welcomes you into the home, you see there is a large like a large fur on the floor that makes for your parents' bed, essentially, and a stone slab in the center that makes for his workspace as he enters you in. and says, "Your mother had said you would join us here. She said that she had called for aid. But I'm still amazed to see you here, my boy. Tell me. Come in. Tell me of your journey."
Are you a god too?
Say it again.
Are you a god too?
No. I am not. I am but a simple tailor, as I have always been. I did not know who or what your mother was for some time. So, I am but a humble servant of the gods.
Well, it stood me well, everything you taught me. I was able to make my way through the world as a soldier and sometimes a tailor. I guess I got the best traits of both you and Mum.
It seems that way. You've grown up. You've doubled in size. You seem to be a hardy young warrior. And your companions, I have heard, seem to be as such. One of our scouts reported back that you came here with a formidable force of companions.
Yeah, there was Korax. He was from Dawnfall, but I didn't meet him in Dawnfall. I met him in Corso. And then there was Seydlitz. He was from Samora. His mum is a seamstress in Samora. You might know her. I can't remember her name. And then there was Antares. We freed her from being a slave, but then turns out that she was one of the chosen of Nalumbriel. And then we found out we were gods, and then we went and saved Samora. They were being attacked, but we saved them. And then that's when people here started praying to me or something, and I heard it, and I knew that Mum was here, so we came to rescue you.
Yes, your mother. I was as shocked as anyone after what had happened with your sister. Your mother informed me during our journey that if such was the case for Rhea, then so too would be the case for you, Mina, and I fear for you both. The world after the fall does not take kindly to the past. The dragon, more so than any, seems to want to stamp out any remnants of the past. And when we found ourselves here and your mother bade the survivors to pray to you as a god of protection, no less.
I thought it was going to be like tailoring to begin with. My nimbus looked like a needle, but then it changed to a spear. So I guess that's probably more Mum's doing than yours. But I still keep up my skills when I can. Except don't say anything. But Korax bought his cloak from Delane, so I've tried not to judge him too much.
Delane Thomas is still in business?
I don't know how it's shocking.
A scoundrel and a cheat, that man.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Korax's cloak hasn't fallen off him by now. But maybe if you get a chance, you should just give it a quick once over.
Or exploded in flame, for all I know. Cheap materials.
Yeah, it's flashy, but definitely definitely form over function.
Everything that man makes is form over function. It's just for the flair.
So,
Anyway, enough about that. And he sort of drags over a stool to sit down with you, or two stools, and sort of opens the floor for you to regale him with your tales. And you can tell there is a bit of a contrast here, and one that I feel like you would be familiar with, right? Your mother was a like an officer in the Samoan military, and then became a caravan guard and was very, very caring, but also very matter of fact. And your father was a tailor, and a stay-at-home tailor dad. So you get the more like the more warmth from your father's side, as he sort of sits down with a stool, and you see him reach up to the table and slide off like a tunic as he begins to rework some of the toggles on this, and is sewing as you regale him with your tales, as he is hung on every word of whatever you're telling him.
Yeah, I think, and Mina's probably doing the same thing as he's talking. He's tidying the area, like putting all the threads away that aren't being used, tidying up scissors and stuff like that.
Yeah, almost like it's muscle memory that like this is what you did in the shop before. Yeah. So we see this very comforting, homely scene here between father and son, as one is sewing, one is putting things away, sort of tidying the house, as it were, as stories are being told. And we interrupt a very humbling conversation with a 10-year-old who doesn't really understand what it means to be a god or what redemption has in store, as Arel and Seydlitz join the group out front.
When then Terry sees them coming, she was like leaning down to like whisper or something, or just to speak to Eve, and when she sees them coming, imperceptibly under her breath, she's just like, and she like leans back up.
She arrives at the entrance, immediately clocks Eve, and she looks to Corax and she says, "You're one of Eddard and Selena's children."
His head is like partially bowed, like he's got his head down a bit. He's yes, I am.
One of the Corvellans.
This is my sister. I am.
I assume you have seen the house your family has made. You're welcome to stay with us. You're welcome to stay with your family. I came to extend the same to you and Terry's, I'm told. You're welcome to stay with Mina, my husband, and I. In our small home here.
Well, we came to get you out, not to stay. Then we need to go with...
I understand.
Complicated.
I've spoken to Seydlitz. The way we found here is closed. Seydlitz has informed me that the way you found here is also closed to you.
I have maps.
Do you know a way out of the Third Deep?
We can look over the maps and see if there's anything you recognize. I have a map from a Delver, and I've got a map of everywhere I've been.
Interesting. We can do that. I'm also aware of a Delver who has taken up residence here in the Third Deep. named Lurasan. He was once a member of the Whitecaps and perhaps could be, if he can be found, he perhaps can be persuaded to show us an exit.
That'd be helpful. If that's the case, then she looks to Corax. Corax and Mina will go with you all and see you back to the surface safely. And then Seydlitz and I will continue on.
As I had mentioned to Seydlitz, and she motions over to him, if your journey continues, we do not need an escort. We simply need to be shown the exit. We have survived this long together. I will ensure the safety of my charges. And if the four of you are bound together in company, then so be it.
Corax feels at his neck where he had previously felt the chain. Which you mentioned that he felt the chain from the Rakshasa Queen.
Mm-hmm.
He just feels his neck and he looks at it and goes, I feel there's other things here that shouldn't be here. I don't know if you're aware of all the dangers that are down here.
The greatest danger here is the Night Beast.
Great. All the more reason for Mina and Corax to accompany you.
I mean, I fully accept what you can do. I know that you can take pretty much everything, but the Rakshasa Queen is aware of a lot. And I can feel her here. Or I felt her here. And he looks back to the route they came.
With the death of Samael, Hekali, and Etananel, Soul Rest is in chaos. Powers that exist there grasp at equally powerful straws. I believe the Rakshasa Queen holds the leash of the Night Beast.
He nods. She does.
Where it goes, her presence is felt. We have been here thus far without seeing the presence of the Night Beast, or at least being aware of our presence. Unless the exit goes directly through its territory, I think we'll be fine.
And he goes sheet white at that. And he looks at her and says, or unless me being here allows it to know where you are.
And why would that be the case?
Because I've met her and made a deal with her.
And that's where we end episode 50
Fuck you.
of the
Damn it.
I saw that coming.
Gee, if that wasn't the perfect phrase to end on, I don't know what was. Come on.
Could have kept going.
Come on. That was such a great closing curtain line of an episode. Yeah, buddy. That's good shit. Good shit. Hell yeah. All right, that's it for episode 50 of The Rise. This one was, of course, called From Ash and Ruin. Let's go around, do our introductions, and then get the hell out of here so we can do our after show, which you guys can get over on our Patreon, link in the description down below, where we chat about this episode, our thoughts and feelings, and decide how all of this is Corax's fault. Cool. Starting with our resident gargoyle, Chi. Chi, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
I'm the friendly neighborhood lightning invoker.
I thought you were going to
You'll
say I'm the
find-
friendly neighborhood gargoyle, and I was going to die.
How many friendly neighborhood versions of something am I? I don't know. Yeah, you'll find me in all things unMadeGaming, modding for regular streams when they happen, in all the Patreon games. Next weekend we have on Saturday our one shots, and then on Sunday we have Mundus Novus. And in April we have Age of Always coming, where I play with Chris, and you'll find me in the Discord all the
Hell
time.
yeah. Hell freaking yeah. Let's jump over to Matt. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to?
I'm Matt or D, and you'll find me here in the Patreon campaign playing as Seydlitz, or the Patreon one shots coming up next week. Right?
Which we have an opening for. Yes.
Yes, we have an opening for that. So yeah, if you want to join us at this table, join the Patreon at that whatever tier that is. Sorry, I don't remember.
It's all right. At the oh god, now I didn't remember.
Kappa?
At the go on our Patreon. There's only like 5 tiers. One of them is at the one shot tier. Come join us over at the one shot tier. We have one open slot. We do 2 one-shots a month of rotating games, settings we built here on the channel, random games, and you too can also run games for the other one-shot members. So definitely worth checking that out over on Patreon. But from Matt, we'll jump over to Norm. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
I'm Normal Snow. You can generally find me in this campaign and in the one-shots and occasionally in the Discord.
Hell yeah. And last but not least, Chris, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
Chris aka Necro. You can find me in the Discord, in the games that everyone mentioned, playing not so campaigns next week, in the one shots, Age of Always, hopefully next month, and yeah.
Hell freaking
That's
yeah.
it.
That's it from us, guys. Again, if you like what we do here, you want to support the channel like these folks, go join us over on our Patreon. Join us at the one-shot tier if you want to play with us. And join us at the $5 tier if you want to catch the after shows. And if you pay attention, there's actually a free week-long trial at the $5 tier, so go check that out. And while you're doing that, join us in the Discord. And if you're watching this on YouTube, leave an emoji in the comments down below so we know you watched it, and we pray to the algorithm gods. That being said, we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much for hanging out. This is it from us. So from all of us to you guys, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.